Hi, folks. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. Thanks for logging on to my latest long range update. Man, what a change 24 hours makes. It is cold out there. Well, actually, it just starts to feel like December. We've been pretty spoiled this month, haven't we? It's a little after 7 p.m. here, and of course, the sun's already down, but temperatures 34, 35, 33 degrees around the area, and of course, that's way colder than it has been any time recently with the record warmth that we have been seeing. Now, the next few days, we're going to see some temperatures like this, but it will rebound. In fact, we got a rebound in a big way for next week as well. So, as you can see, starting to cloud up a little bit out there as the system moves in. There's a possibility of maybe a few flurries overnight with this system as it moves through, but don't look for anything significant out of this precipitation-wise. Now, as we take a look at what you can expect on radar, you can kind of start to see that as we go through the evening hours. You can watch some precipitation here, maybe form overnight. And you can just see just some very light specks of gray there late into the overnight hours. Again, this would not amount to anything. Nothing's, you know, nothing here to worry about. It would not even really snow showers, just some flurries. That's pretty much gone, though, for tomorrow. As we go through the day on Friday, a system kind of slides off to our north. Doesn't really affect us, but we start to warm up again as we head there into the weekend. As far as temperatures are concerned, let's talk about that because, again, it is going to be much cooler than we've expected. As you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures near the 30-degree mark around the area, maybe some upper 20s out there as well. We'll warm up a little bit in the afternoon, not a whole lot, though. Upper 30s, again, for your high temperatures closer to the Ohio River, closer to the freezing mark as you head a little bit more towards the north. Then as you wake up on Saturday morning, temperatures likely in the upper 20s around the area, but we'll warm up to close to 40 degrees over some of the area on Saturday. And then, of course, beyond that, Sunday, it looks like we'll be a lot warmer. Here is the latest 16-day temp spread from the GFS ensembles, and I told you it's going to be a short-lived cold snap. The warm temperatures do come back after 2 or 3 days here, stuck in the 30s. We're back to near 50 for Sunday, and then pushing into the 60s potentially again. This is actually one of the cooler runs that it has had recently. Has had us into the 60s for several days here, but we'll take it regardless. Upper 50s to near 60 degrees, or that's certainly warm. Now, some of the previous model runs have been saying that we could even see record high temperatures Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. That's something that we will keep an eye on. Record high those days is in the upper 60s, I believe. So this doesn't put us even close to that on this particular model run, but we've got time to see whether that adjusts or not. It's been going back and forth on it, but certainly warm nonetheless. If you're looking for a white Christmas, you're not going to get it around here. Not even close. You're going to have to go way out west and way, way far north to be able to see any snow. It's just not going to be around here. Now, that said, it is an active weather period that we're coming up. Let me show you what the GFS is saying over the next 16 days. And you can get an idea of this. High pressure large and in charge really for this weekend. This weekend, though, we start to warm up a little bit more by the time Sunday night comes in into Monday morning. That's when we've got a cold front starting to move through. This is wave one of precipitation for next week. We'll have several days. We start to clear out a little bit on Tuesday, and in fact, this latest run says Tuesday is dry. Most of the other model runs prior to this have had Tuesday with precipitation, so that's a little different in this model run. But we got more precipitation to go, even as you get into Christmas Wednesday and then Christmas Eve on Thursday. This one's not as aggressive with the precipitation chances. And then this one wants to clear it out for Christmas Day itself, which of course is next Friday. So that would be certainly nice. And then of course we start to warm up pretty aggressively after that before another fairly sizable storm system starts to impact the area. And again, this is a trend that we have seen in the modeling here. The modeling several days out, it likes to give pretty hefty storm with lots of soaking rain chances, and then as it gets closer it just backs off the rain altogether, and that's just kind of a El Nino thing. We're not poised for big precipitation events, and the modeling gets it a little bit wrong and starts to adjust as it gets closer to time. But basically, folks, what I want you to see is there's nothing set in stone here, but plenty of an active period. In fact, this run does even want to potentially show a low sliding up the Appalachian coast, sort of an Appalachian runner, and possibly might bring some snow showers to the area with this. But again, that's fantasy land here, 336 hours out. This is December 31st. So, and every run, this is going to be different. So, there are some hints that we could see a little bit of snow showers here and there in it. But as you just take a look at the temperatures, it's just not really looking likely. So, why is that? Now, I know we can blame it on El Nino all we want, but the other thing I want you to notice is just look at the indices. Any hope for cool down or snow soon? Not really. The Arctic Oscillation stays positive through the entire rest of the month. In fact, this goes into January now. And, well, with Arctic Oscillation being positive like that, you're not going to get Arctic air invasions come down into the United States. Just not really going to happen. The North Atlantic Oscillation stays positive the entire time as well. You want that negative to get the blocking pattern so that the Arctic Oscillation could potentially get negative and dip down and bring that Arctic air into us. Both are in the positive. Even the PNA, the Pacific North American pattern, well, it's all negative. You want that positive if you want the cold air to come to us, and it's the exact opposite. Negative PNA like this indicates troughing in the west and ridging over us. That's exactly what we're seeing. That's predicted to stay for a while. Even the EPO, the East Pacific Oscillation, you need it negative strongly if you want to change these indices. Stays positive. So what this just tells me is that we're going to be locked into this pattern really for a while now, and that's exactly what you're seeing on the temperature spread. There's no sign really of winter in sight other than just this brief little snap. By the way, in my winter forecast, I said one of the things El Nino does is bring these up and down patterns like that, but El Ninos tend to make us warmer than we are colder. We're seeing those wild temperature swings. You know, we went from the 60s to highs in the 30s today, going back to the 60s again next week, and of course, that's definitely a wild temperature swing. That'll mess with your sinuses and all your allergies and things. But it looks like we're going to see pretty much a warm pattern shaping up, folks. And I really don't see that changing, not until something major happens. I don't have it pulled up, but if I were to show you our old friend, the polar vortex, that got so much media coverage from a couple of years ago when it came down way too close for comfort to us and gave us those below zero temperatures. The polar vortex is locked up tight as can be at the North Pole, and it is a strong polar vortex. When you get a strong polar vortex, it likes to reside at the pole and stay in place. And until it weakens some enough to displace it and start to move it around, get more of that wobbly pattern going on to it, you're not going to get the Arctic Oscillation to go negative, and you're not going to get sustained long-term cold here in the eastern United States. Right now, I'm just not seeing it anytime soon. I'm not seeing even hints of it coming up on the modeling. In fact, if I were to take a wild guess right now, I would say that January is looking pretty warm to me, folks. I think you're going to see more of the thing. Now, we may start to see, because of the changing of the seasons, we might just see January highs more in the 50s than the 60s like we have had this month, but I still think we're going to be in an above normal pattern for January. With El Nino holding on so firmly and with the polar vortex being so strong and not wanting to weaken, I don't see a pattern change coming down the road anytime soon. I think it's going to be later on this winter, and there's real questions whether it even does. That's something that we will have to see, but we'll take it one day at a time, folks. For right now, it just no sign of cool weather in sight other than this brief cool down that we're under right now. We're going back to a warm pattern after this. You can get the 10-day by going to southernindianaweather.com, folks. Again, maybe some flurries tonight. That's about the best you can hope for of winter anytime soon, because we get the warming trend pretty quickly after that with rain next week and high temperatures, even possibly into the mid-60s for Friday, so Christmas Day. So enjoy it, folks. That's it for this long-range update. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have another one of these out for you soon. Take care.